the hell does this happen? And what was the driver thinking when his car flipped backwards all by itself? I caught up with the driver, Ryan McNamara, to find out all about the craziest sprint car crash I've ever seen. As always, if you like this content, give this video a like and click subscribe so you can see every Sprint Car Hub video. Ryan McNamara, thanks for joining me on Sprint Car Hub. I've wanted to have you on for quite a while now for a few reasons, but just last week you had a monster crash on your own at Archerfield Speedway in Brisbane. Tell us how you're feeling after all that.
Yeah, look, it's never fun to crash, but at the end of the day, I walked away fine. So you need to look at the positives out of it. And yeah, the car's pretty beat up, but you know that's all part of the sport. You just need to get back on the horse and try again. So we'll have another crack in a few weeks' time. We're just rebuilding the motor at the moment, with a bit of a mini off season in the middle of the season. But you know, I was back at the gym the next day, a little bit of a sore neck, but nothing to worry about. So pretty good. You know, we always put the money into this good safety equipment to ensure we can get back out there next week, you know, and have another crack.
I've had plenty of crashes in a sprint car a few years ago, but I've never done anything quite like that. You know, some people probably might think it looks like amateur, but I don't think people realize just how much you're really pushing during qualifying, because you're out there pretty much on your own. And in every situation, you just want to stay on the gas to do the quickest lap time possible. But can you take us inside the car when it happened, and what were you thinking during the crash and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. You know, I sort of was sitting there just before I pushed off, you know, I had the visor down and I was like, you know, quick time, or, you know, this could crash. You know, we were up to like record times around Archerfield where the track was hooked up. So I was like, you know, I'm going to commit and see what we can do. And on the warm-up lap, I felt pretty good. And I thought we're not too bad here. A little bit tight, but, you know, just with the track so hooked up, that was expected. And yeah, I just went into one and really drove it in hard. And I was a little bit tight on entry, and then it freed up a bit mid-corner. And I felt the wheels lift a bit. But it happens all the time, and you just breathe the throttle and you continue on. But you know, I probably had a little bit more throttle than I normally would, just committing to that quali lap, and it started to lift, and I felt that, rode it for a bit, and as I started to lift even more, it just accelerated. I don't know if we had less wheel spin as I started to lift, and then it just, you know, just gripped up even more. It's a bit of a tough one. It was sort of caught me by surprise massively. At least I guess I know now. I've watched the video that many times to figure out what happened, to learn from it and move on. But you know, I watch it now and you just got to laugh. It's a crazy crash, and I'm fine, which is good. And we can get out there and have another crack. But, you know, there's no point dwelling on what happened. It's just more about moving on and looking at the positives out of the situation. And, but yeah, when I was upside down looking at the sky, I sort of was like, said one word and can't really say it on here, but then I closed my eyes and went for a bit of a ride. But once I landed, I kind of looked around and was like, oh, everything still moves. So I must be all right. Just get me out of this thing.
Yeah, I think most people were confused like you were. And when I messaged you, you said you were confused and obviously disappointed as well, as I think most people were. But like I said before, like you're really trying to stay on the gas the entire time during qualifying. And it happens all the time that the front wheels lift up. And I guess you and I both know when you lift off the throttle in a sprint car that the front end just slams down, and that's terrible for a qualifying lap. But as confused as you were, what was your old man thinking watching it?
I think he was probably, along a lot of people, was initially like a bit worried, because that was just a spectacular crash and it didn't look pretty. So I think he was a bit like worried. And then, you know, when I said like, oh, I'm fine, like when are we building another car to go again sort of thing, he's like, oh, okay, well, that's good. And you know, this is more about looking at situation and going, okay, well, you know, you're pushing it to the limit. So it's better than being slow. I'm pretty sure we'd rather do what we did and then go out there and be 20th quick. So yeah, look, unfortunately, it's not the result you want, but at the end of the day, you need to look at the positives. So, you know, I was committed, you know, too committed, you know, I drove it too hard. Whatever way you look at it, it ended up the way it was. So, you know, it's all part of the sport. You know, it's just it's crazy how crazy the video's taken off. You know, I never really expected that, and it's probably one of the most viewed videos in Speedway history at the moment.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's had, well, you messaged me the other day, it had what, 1.2 million views on Facebook alone or something?
Yeah, it's between Facebook and Instagram's at 2 million now, just over views. That's a lot of people seeing me fly through there.
If you watch this video, I guarantee you'll love these. Make sure you also subscribe to us on YouTube and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you want high quality sprint car racing merchandise, we have exactly that over on sprintcarhub.com.